Official encounters with migrants at the southern border totaled more than 300,000 in December. During the last quarter of the year, that number was more than 785,000. That's more people than the number of residents of cities like Seattle, Denver, San Francisco, and Boston. On January 11th, the LaSalle County Board began discussion about a draft resolution declaring the county's non-sanctuary status when it comes to migrants. Well, now, 3 committee meetings and not quite 3 weeks later, a document containing a resolution is still in draft development, but it is going to the full county board for consideration. Hi, and thanks for joining me again for Tom's Take, and thank you to Kathleen Wayland of Wayland Financial in LaSalle for sponsoring this video project. The Committee on Appointments, Legislation, and Rules, the LaSalle County Board, on Thursday eventually passed a document to the agenda for the next meeting of the full county board. That's one thing. But as the committee members and the public heard during a comment period on Thursday, a growing concern is having a plan in place. Not a statement, but a real plan to address the humanitarian side of group arrivals of migrants. To even consider this, you have to accept the premise, the fact that they will come. Well, you're going to hear in a couple of minutes former sheriff and current county board candidate Tom Templeton when he says it's not a question of if, but when. And it's not alarmist. Migrants are here now, as we all know. The food pantries are helping them, for instance. And just this past couple of weeks, we've been hearing more coming out of Chicago and the suburbs. A group of migrants robbed the Macy's store at the Oak Brook Center Mall in the western suburbs. The Oak Brook police chief says that they came from Chicago. We're a long way from Oak Brook, but it's foolish to be in denial that we're going to have to deal with this situation as a county. The question is, how? You're about to see Republican board member Ray Gatza introducing the subject during the comment period on Thursday. He's not on the committee, but he was there in his capacity as a board member and citizen. Then you're going to see Brian Does, who is a firefighter and paramedic. He's also the head of the Finance Committee, as you're going to hear. Tom Templeton is going to talk after that, and then you'll see a little bit from LaSalle Mayor Jeff Grove's public comments, too. Peru Mayor Ken Kolowski was there as well, but he didn't speak, so I have nothing to give you on that. Ray Gatza will be referring to the public comments made by a member of the public at the January 11th meeting. I played some of those remarks in the January 13th installment of Tom's Take, and we're going to pick it up with Gatza at the lectern on Thursday.
January 11th, we had an excellent speaker. Patrick Fian, a retired school teacher, got up here, and I thought it was worth repeating some of his words before you start your meeting. He talked about not getting stuck in the mud. He said, it doesn't matter whether you call them asylum seekers, illegal immigrants, it just doesn't matter, because that's not really where the issue's at. He talked about people in our own county are hurting. Homelessness, veterans, mental health crisis after this post-COVID situation. He reminded us that we have limited resources, so let's spend them on our taxpayers in our own county first. Then when we have extra, we go outside that. Our duty is to LaSalle County taxpayers. He reminded us of that. He's counting, as well as others, for us to keep them safe. He talked about legitimate safety concerns with 3 nuclear power plants in our county, very close to us. Also about how war is looming. And since he was up here, there's been a whole lot more aggression that we've taken. So he's right. He said we have a right as citizens and a duty as county board members to make sure the health and safety of our LaSalle County residents are #1 priority. Background checks are not an unreasonable ask. Finally, he reminded us it only took 19 people to cause what happened on 9/11. And now we have over 8 million people in our country, many of which we have no idea where they're at. We had no problem when we had our governor mess with our Second Amendment, passing a resolution that said we're non-sanctuary county. I've got nothing against legal immigrants. I'm all for it.
The issue I have with all of this is that, to me, being the finance chairman, I kind of think I don't want to say we're wasting money because we're expressing our views and the public wants to know what our views are. That's fine. But the fact is, I'm not sure any resolution anywhere is going to stop a bus driver. And I want to make that point. So I've been arguing in many public meetings that we need to trust the asylum seeker buses with humanitarian plans first, and that any county board resolution that defines us as sanctuary or non-sanctuary is likely not legal, or even if it is, it may reduce our chances to receive reimbursement funding to actually take care of the issue.
You're partway through the public comments at the LaSalle County Board Committee meeting on the subject of a resolution declaring the area non-sanctuary. This was on Thursday. It should be pointed out that the county's emergency management team is integral to any kind of response plan, and the department was, of course, at the meeting and speaking too, but today we're focusing on the broader, less in the weeds part of the comment period. You only have so much time. If you're hearing this on the air or on the app, you're hearing the audio portion of a video that's posted at the YouTube channel of Starved Rock Media. You can find it along with the other Tom's Take weekly videos up there. Now we're going to get back to it with former LaSalle County Sheriff and current LaSalle County Board candidate Tom Templeton.
Do we have the proper planning and the proper things in place throughout our county when this does occur? And it's not a question of, I don't think, it's of if it's going to occur. We have people here that are here now that are in different locations in our county, in Spring Valley as well. And this is going to happen. It's going to be here. And what my main concerns are we prepared for it? It is so much akin to what happened at the first tornado that we had to deal with that was of major consequence in Utica. At that point in time, there was no plan. There was no real plan down on paper as to how we were going to handle that. We got through it. We handled it the very best we could without that plan in place. But then after that, we learned, and we did put plans in place. The next major tornado was one that happened in Streeter. It was much more readily handled by the city government, by the county government, by all the agencies, because we did have those plans. We toss around the words collaboration, and collaboration is very important, and it's good that we talk about it. But we need not only to talk about it, we need to practice it. We have to have collaboration between the members of this board, between the mayors, the city councils, but we can't wait. This is not something where we need to just sit and continue to kick it from, as a football, from committee to committee to committee. We really need to sit down with someone, put the proper people together to formulate that plan, even down to the smallest town. They have to know who's going to be there to help them. They have to know who can they call. And when they call, that help has to come. And it can't be something that comes 2 and 3 days later, because then it's too late. We don't have a permanent plan, nor should we, to house them forever. There's only so much we can do. But with that plan, for a period of time, we're going to be able to do the right thing and take care of them and house them and feed them and clothe them. But we have to be able to move them into areas that is going to be more permanent for them if they're going to be here. Please, County Board, please get ahead of this. Please get the plans in place to properly handle what's going on. Let's put aside any differences that we have. Putting a plan together requires no political issues. It's putting a plan together that we all can function under. That's what we have to be able to do.
Going back to what County Board Member Ray Gatz said is intergovernmental agreements, those are necessary. We're totally open to it. Again, I'm just speaking on Jeff Grove. I have a council. I can't just make a phone call to somebody and say, yeah, Jeff, LaSalle's on board. I have 8 people that I have to make sure is on board with it. And I think we would just need more information as far as the logistics of it and what we need to do. But again, I think we're going to be looking for that, I think, from the county board. Unless you have the sole jurisdiction to make that agreement, then we'd be glad to get into those agreements. But we're definitely on board. I can't speak for Ken, but I'm sure they are too. But again, I'm here today to find some direction from the county board.
In my opinion, a declaration of non-sanctuary status would do minimal harm, especially given the fact that LaSalle County is far from the only government entity working on something like this right now. As a matter of fact, board members frequently refer to Grundy County's efforts. We're human. I assume many people who are here, who've come through, who may be here in the future, are legitimately seeking asylum. But how can we know? Security and defense of our country are my big issues. Can anyone promise me we're as secure now as we were a generation ago when it comes to vetting arrivals? Can you promise me that zero bad actors would seize upon an open border to set up shop here in the country. Thanks for watching, and thanks to Kathleen Wayland of Wayland Financial in LaSalle for paying for this weekend cup of coffee. And I'll talk to you in the morning.